So in this video, you can see from my playlist, I already show you how to make a standard ring from these two ring stock blanks that I have created. There's also links in my playlist and in this video on how I made these stock blanks. But now I'm going to show you how to do a different style ring. It's kind of a sandwich cookie type ring. It's going to be these as a core sandwiched between two pieces of mahogany, and I'll show you how I make those rings. And again, thank you for watching. First step is I need to cut these into a little, well, one of each. I need to cut into a very, very thin slice, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to use my pin chuck again. And again, we want this to be as thin as possible. Well, not too thin, but... And it's about 1/8 or 2/8 of an inch. I'll be sanding this a little bit thinner. And this one is going to be the square dowel one. I cut a little thin, so I'm going to cut one a little bit thicker than that. One's much better. So now I have two inner cores. One is with the square dowel and one with the round dowel. Now let's get these sanded flat. And now they are sandwiched or sanded perfectly flat for the next part. In the next step, I will be cutting the other sides or the outer edges of the sandwich, so to speak. So the outer parts of the sandwich, I am going to be using this piece of 1/4 inch, it's walnut. And I'm just going to be measuring and cutting out 4 pieces, 2 for this blank and 2 for this core. You want to get these as close as possible, but it doesn't have to be quite exact. So once we have the pieces of wood for the outer parts of the sandwich, make sure they're as close to as possible to the size of this. It just makes it more accurate when you're getting to the center. We just need to glue those up. So I use extra thick super glue. You can use wood glue, although I don't think it is as strong, or other CA glues. I like to use the extra thick. And just glue them up. Go ahead and you open. There we go. Make sure it's in the center. And then just apply a little small clamp. And we're just going to wait for those to dry. So now that we have the ring cores all glued up into their sandwich, putting these in a lathe or hand drilling these would be difficult. So the way I do it is I have just bought a inch wide dowel and just cut it up into these little sacrificial blanks that I can mount into the pin chuck of my lathe, and I'm able to drill out the center hole. So to do this, I'm just going to be, again, CA gluing these directly into the center. And let those dry for about 30 minutes. So now that the cores are all glued up to the sacrifice blocks, just so I can get it into the chuck, we can go ahead and drill those center holes. Going to be making 4, 5, or 6 rings, so I'm going to put the 1/2 inch Forstner bit back in. Give this one more tightening. And drill that center hole. There's that ring blank, the sandwich ring blank, with that center hole. Let's do the other ring. Okay, so the next step is to get those in a little bit more rounded fashion so they won't be so hard to get fully circle or fully cylindrical on the lathe. And that I'm going to need my disc sander again. And the only reason I do that is if I were to turn them where they were square on a ring mandrel with those, those points coming out, there is a higher risk that it could break the sandwich apart. So I just round those off. It's a really easy step, and it minimizes the risk. I'm going to saturate these with ultra thin CA glue to get them stabilized. And as soon as they're dry, we'll get these turned perfectly circle. So now the two ring cores are fully hardened, well, and somewhat plasticized. The next step is to get them perfectly round with reference to the center hole. Also, I'm going to be narrowing these because these are awfully thick for rings. So I'm going to be bringing these edge pieces to within a 1/16 of an inch. It's like a millimeter thick. So get them perfectly round and then get them to ring width. And to do that, I'm going to be putting them on the ring mandrel. Looks like a piece of my ring just flew out there. But this side is, it's a little bit closer to round, and this side of the ring is the width that I want it. Take it off, flip it over, and do the same thing on this side. So there's the ring in the right proportions, and I'm going to be dousing this with, or impregnating this with more thin CA glue and let it to dry. But let's get the other ring down to that same dimensions before we do that. Sometimes it has a little bit of a lip there because I can't get close to the mandrel, and I just sand that down. And there's the other one. I'll be back with you when these are all dry. Now that these are dry, you can see here they're pretty much plasticized. I'm going to turn sand the inner radius, and the step after that we'll getting the outside all finished. So basically this is going to be the final finish for the inside of the ring. Going to mount them in my pin chuck. And since these are smaller rings, I'm not really trying to change the size that much. I'm just trying to get everything rounded off and sanded. I'm going to start with 120 instead of the 60. Get the inside and round over the edge. Progressing up to 220. And 320. $400. And on this one I'm going to stop at 8. And put a little finishing on. You see the inside is all smooth. Flipping the ring over and getting that edge. And now the inner surfaces are all finished for this ring. I'm going to go ahead and do this other ring off camera, and I'll be back and we'll finish up the outer surface. Alright, so we got both rings with the inner dimension and inner finishing done. We'll get the outer finish done and we'll be pretty much finished up with these two rings. So I'm using my ring mandrel again. Get that tightened up. And on this one it's a little thick yet, so I'm going to use a carbide bit just to bring it down so I don't have to do so much sanding. Start with the heaviest grit I have, which is 60 grit. I'm going to work my way up to 800. And then put a little finishing oil on. There is a finished ring. Now I just got to put some spray on poly on it, let it dry, and it's ready to go. And I'm going to be doing this ring the same. So I'll be right back with how I spray on the poly here as soon as I get this ring done. So this is my little spray booth here. You can actually see some of the mist going by from my last spray of poly. This is just a spray on polyurethane. I give them a couple coats on each side and then the rings are done. And now that the rings are complete, I went from this to this to these. And using the same method, I was able to make these 3 examples as well. All sandwich rings with the micarta blank on the inside. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe the video. And don't forget, all of my designs can be seen at www.etsy.com/shop/crafts by arts. Links will be in the description.